From a strategic, operational and tactical sense, why were the Romans generally so much more proficient than their enemies? Well, a few reasons. Let's get into them. Reason number 1. Ruthless discipline and intensive training. Legionaries went through multi-month initial training focused on marching, formations, shield use and thrusting with the sword, often with practice weapons heavier than the real thing. Discipline was enforced by a harsh military justice system up to execution or decimation, which produced units that would hold formation under extreme stress and reliably execute orders. That reliability let Roman commanders attempt complex maneuvers and sustained fighting that less disciplined tribal or levy forces simply couldn't match. Training and discipline were the overriding agency, especially in moments of extreme fatigue and brutal combat. The legionaries always fell back on their discipline to keep moving forward toward the enemy in pursuit of their objective. Reason number 2. Superior organization and command structure. The legion's layered structure, from legion to cohorts to centuries to contubernia, created many intermediate leaders like centurions or optiones who could act independently yet follow a unified plan. This dense officer or NCO network meant Romans could rotate units, plug gaps and coordinate reserves mid-battle in ways most enemies couldn't, especially loosely organized tribal coalitions. In practice, Roman formations kept fighting coherently even when parts of the line were under heavy pressure, while opponents often fragmented once things went wrong. Fresh troops always rotated to the front, while tired ones hydrated, recuperated, and had their wounds tended to if necessary. Reason number 3. Logistics as a force multiplier. Romans treated logistics as a science. Standardized pack loads, mule trains, state warehouses known as horea, and the cursus publicus courier supply system allowed them to keep armies in the field for long campaigns. Where tribal armies frequently disbanded when food ran out, Roman forces could dictate campaign timing and wear enemies down by simply staying in the field longer. This is why they could come back after catastrophic defeats such as Cannae and still grind out victory. The Roman system outlasted individual disasters. Logistics wins wars. Reason number 4. Engineering and prepared positions. Legions were half soldier, half construction worker. They built fortified marching camps almost every night, complete with ditches, ramparts, and internal street grids. They excelled at field engineering, bridges, roads, siege works, and fortifications, which let them choose favorable ground, control river crossings, and turn sieges into engineering projects rather than gambles. This systematic use of earthworks and camps made surprise harder for enemies and gave Romans better protection and morale between engagements. Reason number 5. Tactical doctrine and combined arms. Doctrine that was well thought and planned out at the strategic level and flawlessly executed at the operational and tactical levels of combat. Roman infantry tactics emphasized cohesive heavy infantry backed by light troops and cavalry, with increasing integration of artillery such as ballistae and onagers over time. Doctrine prioritized holding a stable line, rotating cohorts, and using reserves and supporting arms at critical moments, whereas many enemies like the Gallic or Germanic warbands relied on a single big charge that Romans were built to absorb and counter. In modern terms, they practiced an early form of combined arms and modular maneuver units, while many opponents were still essentially single-arm forces. Reason number 6. A political social system that kept feeding the machine Rome had massive manpower reserves and an inclusive approach to allies and conquered peoples, which constantly replenished the army and expanded its logistical base. Rome also had plenty of incentives for military service. Amongst them were citizenship, status, and a career to be proud serving a nation the soldier believed in. Roman culture normalized continual warfare, which meant the army was almost always in a state of readiness, regularly blooded and experienced, unlike many opponents who mobilized only for specific crises. So ultimately, Roman proficiency and warfighting success came from a whole system: discipline, training, organization, logistics, engineering, doctrine, patriotism, and political backing, all stacked together, not from any single superweapon or one-off innovation.